Welcome to part 4. Today, we leave Beaufort behind and go for a quick hike high in the surrounding mountains. We then drive to Col de Aravis to see the surrounding mountains and have a relaxing picnic. Later, we make our way to the town of Thônes for our overnight stop. The next morning, we head out to Lake Annecy to get some great views from an elevated position and watch some hang gliders are flying around. Then we drive along the lake to the town of Annecy and see the old prison building. Due to the limited time, we didn't have too much time in Annecy to look around. As we were leaving Beaufort, we saw French 50 checking out a driver who was later detained. We make our way higher and higher into the mountains to find a suitable hiking spot. In the bend of a road, we came to a promising spot for a hike. The trail led upwards at quite a steep angle, but looked interesting. We decided to stop and explore this trail. We didn't expect to find anything earth-shattering, but thought it would provide for a nice stopping point with some nice views. And I have to say, the views all around were really nice and awesome. The pictures and videos do not do it justice. You would have to experience the grandeur in person. The trail dead-ended pretty quickly into some logs and branches that had been cut down. Climbing over these branches proved to be quite slick due to the recent rains that we had, and we didn't proceed any further.
This is as far as we went. The trail is pretty steep and the wet branches make the trail a little bit slippery. So this is as far as we're going to go. We're going to head back. There you can see at the base of this valley, that's the road we came on to get up this far here. And it sounds like the rain is starting to come down again. Just magnificent views wherever you look. And it's so green because of all the rain.
Alongside the road, there were hundreds of these stinging nettle plants. The leaves have tiny hairs on the underside, and if you brush up against them with your bare skin, they will give you a painful and itchy rash for a couple of hours. It's not very pleasant. We continue our journey onto Col de Aravis. Once again, passing through some spectacular scenery along the way. Making our way through the winding mountainous roads, we came across this one-room church that shows a date of 1660 over the entrance. The church was of course locked, and I couldn't find any information about it online. On the way, we passed through the town of La Guitaz, a small town mainly popular with skiers in winter. It is also famous for some huge wooden sculptures along the main road. As we drove further, we started to see some magnificent snow-capped mountains in the distance. These are what we had come to see. Arriving at the peak of Col de Aravis, we looked around and gazed at the almost 9,000 feet high mountains. Some sections of them had almost vertical faces. Sit back and enjoy the beautiful scenery. We stopped at a small parking lot off of Route D909. There we enjoyed our sandwiches and relaxed, while locals and tourists whizzed by giving us curious looks. While my sister prepared things for our picnic, I decided to look around. I saw this huge cabin and I thought to myself, what a magnificent place to live. Surrounded by all this beautiful scenery, the freshest air you can imagine, and pure white snow in the winter. We saw this search and rescue helicopter fly overhead. You can see the stretcher holder on the right side of the helicopter. We had a leisurely lunch, taking in the surrounding sights and the relaxing sounds of the nearby stream. We arrived in the town of Thônes for our overnight stay in the Hotel du Commerce. It was a nice enough place with clean, comfortable, reasonably priced rooms. The included breakfast was, in my opinion, just okay. The next morning, we visited the farmers market held in town near our hotel. They had the standard local farm fresh produce and dozens of varieties of cheese and different preserved meats. We then made our way to Lake Annecy. Getting closer to the lake, we started to see some hang gliders in the air. We stopped at the Col de la Forclaz to get some spectacular views of the lake from a high elevation. After we found a place to park, and along with some spectacular mountain in the distance, we were once again greeted by the ringing bells of the Turin cows grazing nearby. As we approached the lakeside, we saw this shop offering hang glider rentals. Lake Annecy is an alpine lake named for the city of Annecy, which is located at the north end of the lake. It is here that the lake outflows into the River Thônes. This lake is the third largest lake in France and was formed about 18,000 years ago when the large alpine glaciers melted. The lake is about 9 miles long and 2 miles wide and has a maximum depth of about 270 feet. There in the distance you can see the town of Annecy, which we will visit in just a little bit. We saw several hang gliders fly nearby and overhead, and it seemed like the flyers were having a great time and getting some awesome aerial views. You can see one of the flyers using a selfie stick to get some great views of themselves in the air. As we descended from the heavens to the earth towards the town of Annecy, we saw the gliders getting closer to the ground, getting ready for their landings. Here is a recumbent hang glider coming in for its landing. Now this is a perfect landing. Looks like an experienced glider pilot. Here's a tandem glider coming in for another perfect landing. Just perfect. Beautiful. We arrive in the busy town of Annecy in the early afternoon and walk around the main public areas. Walking along the riverbank, we saw these red-crested pochard ducks swimming and diving, looking for food. Hey you, get away from her. That's my babe. There was this guy on the other side of the riverbank entertaining both kids and adults by making huge soap bubbles. There was this beautiful church on the riverbank, but due to time constraints, we didn't get to go inside. This is a view looking upriver into Lake Annecy. This building, the Palais de Lille, is currently an art museum, but it was originally a fortified house built in the 12th century. The building is on a boat-shaped island in the middle of the River Thônes. It served as a prison and courthouse until the French Revolution. It was again used as a prison during World War II. The building was classified as a historical monument in 1900 and today houses the local history and art museum. Thanks for watching guys. Stay tuned for part 5 coming soon.